Welcome back. If you remember, at the end of our last section, what I promised is that I would be sharing with you some core concepts that apply to all the training that we're going to do with a Successful Life course. The first of those 5 core concepts may sound very simple. You go, yeah, but let's talk about it a little bit. The concept is, if you want things to change in your life, you're going to need to change some things in your life. Well, let's think about it. Let's think about something that makes a lot of sense. So, a few years ago, Emily and I were driving from Tucson, Arizona, over to the San Diego area. And there was this long stretch going through the desert, a very flat road, just straight as it could be for miles. Now, in order to maintain our speed, because I'd put on the cruise control, what needed to change? Well, nothing. The road was flat. There was no real change in wind direction. The accelerator was set at a certain RPM. The RPMs, or revolutions per minute, of the car didn't need to change. The oil pressure didn't need to change. We were going at the same speed across the desert. But what if I had looked at the estimated time for arrival and we were going to be late for the meeting we were scheduled to go to? Something was going to have to change in order for us to reach the destination at the time we wanted to. And obviously, that meant we were going to have to push on the accelerator to go faster in order to traverse the distance quicker. And the same thing happens in our lives. You know, there's an old Newtonian physics law that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Well, if we keep doing the same actions, we're going to get the same reactions coming back to us. Let me give you an example, a personal one from when I was in the 7th grade playing basketball. Coach Carden was the phys ed teacher. He wasn't the basketball coach, he was our phys ed teacher. And Coach recognized that I had a little talent in basketball. But he also recognized that if I continued to shoot the ball the way I shot it, then I was going to level out, and if you will, I would not achieve my fullest potential as a basketball player. See, my dad had gotten me started playing basketball when I was in the 3rd grade. And when you're in the 3rd grade, you don't have much strength. Matter of fact, we seldom could shoot the ball beyond the foul line. And in order to get the ball up 10 feet, because we didn't have goals that got lower, but in order to make a basket at 10 feet, the only way I could get it up there was by shooting from my shoulder. And you'd push it up there and you could get it up. Well, fast forward as I entered the 7th grade, guess how I still shot the ball? I shot a set shot, meaning my feet stayed on the ground, from my shoulder. Coach Carden wanted me to make 2 changes in order to be a better basketball player. Instead of keeping my feet on the ground when I shot, he wanted me to learn how to jump and then shoot while I was still in the air. That way, the defender's hand to try to block it had to be higher. The second thing he wanted me to change is, instead of shooting from my shoulder, shoot from above my head. Why? Once again, that moved the target of my shot being blocked even higher. So now if I jumped and I moved, that meant the defender, in order to block the shot, had to get about 1.5 feet higher than he would have if I shot from my shoulder. See, if I wanted to be a better basketball player, I was going to have to change some things in the way I shot the basketball. And I did. But it didn't happen immediately. Coach Carden put me in the gym by myself during phys ed time for 6 weeks. And instead of shooting from my shoulder, I learned to shoot above my head. And then I learned to jump and shoot above my head. So if you want things to change in your life, you're probably going to have to change some things. Now, based on the previous discussion that we had, you might already guess what I'm talking about that might need to change in your life. It's some of your habits. It's some of my habits that had to change as I went through the Successful Life course as well. So there's a personal inventory questionnaire for you to reflect upon, and nobody's going to look at it but you. But there's 35 statements about things that you do. And then there are 4 columns. You do it almost always. You do it most of the time. You occasionally do it, or seldom or never do it. So take the survey and then reflect upon if there are some habits that you might want to change. Thanks. And after you go through the questionnaire, then move on to the next core concept for me to share with you. See you there.